hands-on conservation, for example, of wall paintings, and on heritage management. She's also coordinator of the IRIS National Node in Malta. Over to you, Joanne.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mattia, for the introduction. I don't have any slides to share. I will be just placing in front of you thoughts which have been with me for a very long time in my 35 years, something in not only in teaching, but also in working very closely with people from the arts and humanities. I come from a scientific background, but most of my work has evolved with people who are not with a scientific background. And that has not only changed the way I teach and approach subjects with my students, but also how I approach a discussion with professionals from other fields. In fact, my intervention here is very strongly anchored in my long-standing belief that by its very nature, heritage is cross-disciplinary and multidisciplinary, and therefore can only be tackled if all possible considerations, ethical, philosophical, historical, cultural, social, and scientific, are taken on board and given their due importance. If I first start by addressing conservation, which is the area where I teach, it can be said that before the 20th century, restorers were considered as subsets of other professions, such as painters, sculptors, or cabinet makers. Learning was mostly on the job with the masters. And therefore, before conservation training actually emerged as an academic subject, these divisions already existed. And even before the conservation became a distinct profession. And therefore, there is a risk, because of the way the training is carried out, that the students will have limited exposure to not only other conservation techniques and materials, but also to experts from other fields. And this can be said, I think, for other areas of heritage studies as well. When we divide the traditional disciplines into humanities and sciences, there is a real risk that there will be little interaction between the various strands, which would then allow for a holistic study of the object or site. And unless one is conscious of this and makes an effort to overcome it, it is very, very easy to leave by the side. So how can our heritage professionals be given a holistic education and develop a mindset which will then inform the decisions that they will take when they are working in practice? Many established and internationally recognized courses are based in Europe. Not only, but I am starting with, first of all, the European outlook. And in many cases, courses are run by lecturers trained in Europe. When there is a mix of international students, there is the real risk that some of the students will be taught methods and technological solutions which may be inaccessible in their own country or region. Or indeed, they may be asked to look at problems from an ethical, philosophical, or cultural standpoint, which may be less relevant to their situation at home. I will now move on to the real topic of this workshop, and I wish to talk about a little bit about Latin America and the Caribbean, which are home to a vibrant heritage, which includes over 140 World Heritage Sites, diverse and prominent contemporary cultural expressions, ancient cultures and subcultures, strong links to the environment, and rich indigenous knowledge reserves. ICCROM in 2020 committed itself to promote the integrated and sustainable management of all heritage, paying particular attention to major region-specific issues. Other organizations are on board already or coming on board, and these include not only organizations in Europe, like ANCOR and ECHO, but also the large international bodies such as UNESCO, ICOMOS, the IIC, and ICOM. These have embraced or are rapidly embracing the need for the approach to heritage to be not only multidisciplinary, but also relevant to real situations on the ground. It is therefore imperative that we all work towards solutions which embrace different cultures, different attitudes, and different outlooks, whilst also promoting multidisciplinarity. These are some suggestions which I can make. I am sure all of you can come up with many, many more. But from my end, these are important things to keep in mind. The humanities and the sciences should be given equal importance in training, as the issues a professional will face on the ground are always multifaceted and always complex. Courses should strive to admit students coming from all areas in the same class, in the same mix, coming from the humanities, sciences, pure or applied, and different backgrounds. An environment of debate and discussion, which constant challenges coming from all areas needs to be the norm. Where case studies are being discussed, effort must be made to include situations from different geographic regions and different cultures, especially, but not only, if the student cohort is international. Homegrown courses related to heritage studies would be ideal. So even here, the multidisciplinary and multicultural aspect must not be ignored. And I was very, very happy to hear Jose Luis talk about the courses which are actually on the ground, which with the students facing real problems in their own country. So that is absolutely the way to go. However, there are issues. For example, the lack of common terminology and internationally accepted definitions. These can be real barriers to be overcome. Although multilingual illustrated glossaries are now becoming widely available. More effort must be put into this area of support for the student and the practitioner to develop a common language across all heritage disciplines. I would like to conclude by saying that each country, dare I say each institution, can have a different outlook. This should not be an issue, as there is no one way to approach heritage. It must be constantly enriched by all areas of interest. However, dialogue across disciplines, across countries, continents, across cultures, and across languages is an objective we must steadily work towards. We owe this to our heritage, which is our common inheritance. Thank you.